Welcome back to the most hardcore fans in boxing, to the most raw and unfiltered podcast that there is, Uppercut City. Here, Alex Superman Stone with James Big Smooth.
Yeah, let's go.
Oscar the Oso Cologne.
Hey.
So, what's going on? James, how's it back?
It's good. It's getting there. You know, every day it gets a little bit better. Some days it's a little sore, but all around it's getting much better. Much better. I'm very happy with it. It's been about 5 months so far.
How's the sparring going?
Sparring, I just started sparring, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. That's been good. Once a week, maybe 3 rounds, 6 rounds, but it's been going good. I'm not getting hurt. That's the most important part, and I feel like I can move well as well, which is very, very good because the first, 3 months of the herniated disc, I was like, is this shit going to last forever? You know, I could barely, move the way you want. You feel like you're a 50-year-old guy when you're 25.
But you are different at this weight.
Oh, yeah. I was 267 when it happened, the injury. Now I'm 240 to 245. I feel amazing. I feel like I'm gliding.
You're hurting people.
Yeah.
Which is
hitting as hard or maybe even a little bit harder.
A little meaner.
Yeah. The beef liver does it, baby.
Well, you know, I remember we talked a lot about that. You had some struggles with actually trying to take it easy when you first found out about the injury. You know, and I kept trying to. I remember we talked how many times, and I just kept saying, just take your time, your time, because that's not one that you mess around with.
No.
That's the one that if you keep messing it up, that could end your career.
Yeah, definitely. And your back, especially for a heavyweight, twisting and turning and taking those big shots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, take your time, and I think you're doing great.
Thank you. It's coming along.
Oh, so what's going on with you, my man?
Good. Everybody's good. Family's good. Wife's good. Watching a lot of boxing. Deciding on what I'm gonna do personally. We've talked about gyms, boutiques, different things. So, good things on the way. What about you, Alex?
Superman.
Things good. Been spending a lot of time with the family the last couple of weeks. It's been nice. Have my daughter home, which is always, she's 2 years old, so that's it's awesome but challenging at the same time. But I got to say honestly, these last couple of weeks working on this show with you guys and spending time with the family has been some of the funnest weeks I've had in the last few years.
So just remember this: you have the terrible 2s.
Yeah.
Then you have the tornado 3s.
Yeah.
Impossible 4s. Holy shit, she's 5.
Oh, okay. See, my mom told me something different. My mom always said, Alex, everyone warns you about the terrible 2s, but no one ever tells you about the fucking 4s.
Well, yeah.
Yours sounded a little nicer. My mom was not that. My mom was just very blunt with us.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it. Now that I got a 10-year-old and a 17-year-old who's graduating high school, Stoneman Douglas, shout out. I just enjoyed all of it. I remember days where I was just like, man, coming home from training or whatever I was doing, and he would be on go.
Yeah.
Still had all the energy, and I'm like, I just want to sleep.
Where do they get that energy from, man? That's crazy. It's like untapped energy stores, just nonstop.
Those gushers, those fruit roll-ups.
Sugar high.
It's but even my the 2-year-old Valentina, I don't give her a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
For her, and it's weird. It's funny because if she goes somewhere, she goes to her grandparents or aunt and uncle's house, and someone gives her some sugar, like cookies or whatever, it takes a couple days to get her reset into being okay eating meat and savory things and eggs and oatmeal, whatever, the stuff that we try to feed her on the regular. But it's just crazy how the kids, they just have so much energy. And it's like, man, I envy that.
on the sports tip, Jason Tatum just from the forgot what team does he play for? Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum,
yeah.
NBA player.
He got traded. I don't really
He created.
basketball.
Yeah, he has a new candy that came out, kind of like these gummies that are less sugar and good for the kids because they all eat a lot of candy. So he created his own candy, which is pretty cool.
Speaking of athletes creating candies, you know how Mike Tyson has kind of embarked on his weed journey
Drugs,
now?
Mushrooms, drugs.
Yeah. I mean, we could argue about the semantics of the word drugs. I'd say there's things that grow in nature, and if you happen to consume them, they have effects on you. I wouldn't say they're drugs, but
Coffee's a drug.
But listen, regardless. So one of the things to tie in, I'm talking about edibles. So Mike Tyson released a brand of edibles recently called Mike Bites.
Wow.
With Evander.
And he's partnered up with Evander Holyfield.
And
the gummies are ears, and they have a bite taken out of the ear, each one of them.
I heard about that, yeah.
I think that's such an awesome thing. It's cool to see Mike Tyson in a whole new realm where he looks happy and healthy. But without too much,
it's ridiculous.
Is it?
The ears are ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, what, the bites? I mean, but at the same time, like, think of the marketing. Marketing behind that is incredible.
Marketing. Yep. It's like it happened for a reason.
It needed to happen.
40 years later. Crazy.
Yeah, and Jason Tatum's candy's called Small Wins. Small Wins Gummies.
Small Wins Gummies.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
But that's a good thing, too. It's good to see athletes putting money and setting up businesses into things that will provide them a life after sports.
100%.
Because you see how many times, someone makes millions over their career and then they're sleeping under a bridge in a few years.
Yeah.
But thus is the sports world. So without too much further ado and small talk, I guess there's some good fights that were on this weekend. Did you guys watch any boxing?
Yeah.
Did watch some boxing. Yes.
I hope so. Otherwise, we're producing the wrong show here.
Have a great day. I'm out of here.
Yeah. No, I watched golf this weekend. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I should have seen this guy. He took on like 7 hits to get the ball in the gopher hole. It was great.
I know we're a boxing show, but I want to say one thing. Zion, fucking come back and start playing. I'm sick of waiting.
Yes.
Okay.
Love Zion, too. He's a Zion animal, man. Zion reminds me of like modern day, like Charles Oakley was like a better scorer. He's built the same way, man.
This kid is 285 pounds.
Crazy. What is he, 6'8"?
6'6", 6'7".
Damn. And a lot of people thought he was going to get lost in the NBA because that 6'8" size is kind of like a no man's land. It's like, where do I fit? Am I a forward? Am I a power forward? Am I am I center? Where do you go there? So, but boxing, like basketball has evolved as a sport, and so has boxing. And I think one of the things that's nice that we saw this weekend is that there was some really good high quality women's boxing on, and the IBF and WBO minimum weight titles were on the line this week. Yokasta Valley defended both of her titles against a nice, good, undefeated opponent, Jessica Salazar. I don't know if you guys caught that fight.
I did catch some of it.
Yeah, it was really good, high quality fighting. The judges, it's what I like to call a competitive shutout. Yokasta won basically every round on my scorecards. The judges scored it 100-90 2 times, and the other judge scored it 98-92. And I think that those were fair scorecards, but the fight was competitive enough in every round to where you're like, oh, this is a decent fight. And it's good to see that the women have kind of elevated that level to where there used to just be so few and far between women in every weight class, and now there's actually a nice quality sport going on where someone who is now 28-2 was taking on someone who was 11-0.
What I think women's boxing is lacking, and I don't know exactly why, because they have so much technique. I think women's boxing, if anything, they have more fundamentals than some of the men do, because some of the men can get away with just brute strength, guts, good chin, and they can get away with, starting a career that way. You have instances where women have, in this case, 25 wins, let's say, and they only have 2 knockouts, 9 knockouts.
Right.
If they had more knockouts, I think the draw would be a little bit more. But
for sure.
Ultimately, it's not a knock on them. It's just, that fighter will come and we'll be surprised that, hey, this girl's knocking everybody out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The thing is with most average boxer watchers or people watching boxing, they want to see a knockout. The average fan, they don't care about skill. Like before I started boxing 3 years ago, I wanted to see a knockout. When I would watch boxing and see the sweet science, I didn't understand it, so I was like, oh, it's a little boring. But now I watch boxing,
And now boring fights.
Like, oh my god, I want to be able to do this to a guy for 12 rounds, because the knockout, if you got it, you got it. But if you could box like that, like Shakur Stevenson or like a Devin Haney, that shit's amazing to watch.
Want to be Devin Haney, throw 1,000 jabs.
Yeah, right.
Jab and grabs.
But that's the reason.
The lightweight version of John Ruiz. Jab him, grab him.
Roy beat John Ruiz.
Beat his ass. We'll see if Roy wins this weekend, though.
I don't want to talk about it.
What do you mean? We're going to watch, are we? We're not going to watch. We're going to watch.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to watch.
Is Oso going to watch? Throw her up on the poll. Is Oso going to watch or is he not going to watch? I think another point to be made to both you guys when it comes to the knockouts, though, and to everyone out there, and this is something interesting because the WBC just voted against it today, actually. The women's rounds are only 2 minutes.
Yeah,
a
they gotta do
lot
three.
harder to get a knockout in 2 minutes than
You're
it is
right.
in 3. 3-minute rounds leaves a lot more opportunity for knockouts to
I
happen.
think it's perspective too, though. If you look at it, yes, to your point, but you also have the opposite, where you have 2 minutes, so you have a whole minute extra of rest. So you should be able to spurt, and throw more punches within those 2 minutes versus a 3-minute. Imagine having a 2-minute 10th round, a 2-minute 12th round. You know what I mean? So.
Are they sparring 3 minutes? Or, you know what I mean?
I think
That
they
too
are
could,
sparring 3
that could
minutes to
fuck
build
it
the
up, though,
cardio-
right? That could
cardio
fuck
up.
it up.
It's hard because you should spar, but I remember, if I was training for 3-minute rounds, I would usually spar 4-minute rounds. It's always it's about having that long-term gas tank that they want.
Yeah.
I don't think that you should be able to, I feel like you should be able to spar a minute longer than the round is and still know how to fight for a 2-minute round.
Yeah.
And these women are tough. I'm not saying they're absolutely tough. So I think it's going to take that special woman fighter to put these ladies out, because technically they're so sound, almost all the fighters. So they get hit with clean, hard shots. They just don't go down.
Yeah, why do you think it is that you don't see the females knocking out too many people? Like their percentage of knockouts is always lower. Is it just like the difference in strength, or should women be wearing lighter gloves too?
What do they wear? 8s?
Yeah, I think they do wear 8s.
They operate by the same rules. They wear 8s and
Yeah.
10s depending on the weight.
I think it's different because the rules are not the same for them. So I mean, if you're gonna make some of the rules and give them variations, then then to your point, maybe that is something they consider. Making the gloves 6 ounces, making the gloves 8 ounces.
6 and 8, depending on instead of 8 and
depending
10.
on the weight. So I mean, I think there's
UFC glove?
it's hard for me to say because they're technically, they're so skillful. You know what I mean? So like Maya, I think her name is Maya Mayer.
Yeah.
Right? And she fought
Michaela
Alicia
Mayer.
Bumgard.
Michaela
Michaela Mayer. Yeah, that fight was good.
It was a great
It was
fight.
a great fight. You know what I mean?
That was some of the best boxing, period, regardless of gender or.
And the hardest shots you ever seen, and them girls just walk through.
Yeah.
Walk through. So.
It's not, well, not everyone, and then every once in a while that woman like Ann Wolf comes along who puts the fear of God in men.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I don't want to fight her.
Yeah.
She was, it's unfortunate. I feel like Ann Wolf missed the boat of women's boxing by about a decade. Like she was about 10 years too early.
Yeah, I think she came around that Layla Ali,
Layla never
Take
wanted
off.
anything to do with her.
that Layla Ali takeoff, and she took everybody by storm,
Yeah, a lot of people ran from her.
She's big.
Yeah, she's big.
Yeah,
Scary
that's a big
too.
girl.
Scary. It's unfortunate. I know she's tried her hand in training. I'm not sure if she's working with anybody now, but I remember she was trying to work with James Kirkland, and it didn't work out too well.
Ann Wolf was working with Kirkland.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ann Wolf tried her hand
yeah.
at training, and but I'm not sure if she's still working with anybody else. But it remains to be seen. I'd be open to see her working with some other fighters. It's like it's the same thing we talk about kind of with Roy Jones. Like Roy Jones was training Chris Eubank, and you saw in the Liam Smith fight, he was looking like Roy, and I was like, damn, he looks like Roy, and I'm thinking to myself, you can't teach someone how to fight like Roy because they're not Roy. And same thing kind of with Ann Wolf. Like Ann Wolf was able to do what she was able to do because of her, she had strength and power that not a lot of women had.
Yeah, I think you're saying it right. You can't teach somebody to be something that they're not.
Yeah.
I think you have to look at their skill set and improve on that skill set. And everybody has something that makes them special, and highlight that and take that to the bank. You know what I mean? Roy was Roy. Roy in his prime, I'll argue with whoever.
Roy in his prime, I think, is the best
nothing
fighter
like
of all time.
Nothing
I don't
like
think there's anybody that could touch him.
Nothing like
Yeah, he was real
I
nice.
think people like to argue about that, but it's hard. So aside from the Acosta Valley fight, there was some other good.
Before we
cards
move on, I just want to say, I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, go ahead,
I will
jump in.
marry both those women because they were goddamn beautiful. That's all I want to
Oh,
say.
yeah,
Please move on.
The weigh-in was awesome.
I didn't watch the weigh-in.
The weigh-in. Liar. We watched it together.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Was there a weigh-in?
Let's see. Who had Jose Zepeda had a fight this past weekend over Niaj Goyat. Pretty dominant performance.
Yeah, coming off that loss.
Yeah, which is good because the
Yeah.
loss was a late stoppage loss to Regis Prograis, and I
was
feel like
good
it was. He was down on all the cards, but it wasn't the worst fight in the world. It was
No.
it wasn't a blowout by at the time.
Entertaining
But
for sure.
I think Prograis is the cream of the crop at 140 right now. Zepeda, he dominated the fight 100-90 across the board. So I think that was exactly the type of fight he needed after a loss, and it's good to see him back in just a couple months.
Yeah. What was it, like 4 months or something?
Zepeda shines with the right opponent, which is not a good thing necessarily, right? Because like you said, they put him against somebody prior, and look what happened. I think I can't tell what type of level of fighter he is, because when he fought Vargas, I thought, well,
1 round, yeah.
I said, wow, like if this is the level that he's bringing and he's that accurate and can transfer that type of power, then, whoa. Then you have 2 fights back to back where he doesn't drop anybody. I don't think he dropped this guy in his last fight, and they went 10 rounds, right?
Well, we also saw what happened with Jose Vargas against the next guy he fought.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be a bounce back opponent for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm interested to see him step up again and see what he does.
I mean, at 140, you have Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez about to start going at it. That's going to be a hell of a fight. I think that's about as even of a fight as you can get. And I feel that, I think we're going to talk about another person that's going to be in line for that title shot in just a minute. We're going to talk about Jose Ramirez. Mm-hmm. They're all in the 140-pound division. I feel like the winner of, we kind of see who we need to narrow it down to in the 140-pound division.
Who's the guy that Ryan Garcia fought that knocked Ryan Garcia down?
Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell still at 140?
Let's see.
I think that'd be a good fight for Zepeda.
Let's check out Luke Campbell.
See where he's at.
Wow, matchmaker also right there.
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
Let's go on the phone. Luke Campbell, yes, I believe he's still at 140. Luke Campbell. But that might have been, I think Ryan Garcia fought him at 135.
Luke Campbell's big, so I'm sure he'd be excited to go to 140.
Let's see, Luke Campbell. He's 20-4 with 16 knockouts. And they have Campbell fighting at lightweight at 135. Mm-hmm. So his last 2 fights, he hasn't fought since the Ryan Garcia fight. It's been 2 years. Mm-hmm. And he's coming off back-to-back losses against Lomachenko and then Ryan Garcia.
Still a good resume.
Yeah, and his other losses, were against
Zepeda versus Rolly.
Zepeda versus Rolly is a good fight too. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Give Rolly that southpaw.
Well, let's see. Goyat, who Zepeda defeated, really, he's not going to be doing not much at 17-4 with 7 knockouts. We know who he was and what he was there to do. He was there to get beat.
Yeah.
But I think then the next fight we could talk about, since we're talking about that division, was Jose Ramirez versus Richard Comey.
Yep.
Yeah. So, which I thought was a good fight. It was a close fight until the end, until it was ended in the 11th round with that nasty body shot.
Yeah, I just seen him being broken down. Comey was getting broken down little by little. And then when I thought he was like really broken down, he showed that he still had some. And then that last 2 rounds, it was just bad for him. The attack to the body, and
he's 36 years old now.
What's his name? What's the guy that beat him?
It was Jose Ramirez.
Did he look like he was tired at all?
No.
This motherfucker.
He looked like he was ready to go another 12 rounds.
Going and going.
He had that spiked water in the corner now.
Jeez, that margarita water.
Right.
Yeah, but Richard Comey is a veteran of now 36 professional fights. He's now 30-5.
I like Comey, man.
27 knockouts, so he's a hard hitter. But at the end of the day now he's 36 years old, so he's been in a lot of wars. He's always been known to be an exciting fighter. So I don't know if he's necessarily completely out of the title picture, but he's going to need to put together quite an impressive string of fighters, because he's now 1-3-1 in his last 5 fights.
Yeah, he's years out of his prime.
Yeah, so he got TKO'd pretty badly against Teofimo Lopez. He bounced back with a win against Jackson Marinez, who was there for exactly that. He had a pretty dominating loss to Vasily Lomachenko.
Yeah. Yep.
And then a split draw with Jose Pedraza, that was just a bad fight, period. And then now the knockout loss to Ramirez. So I think Comey in the 140 and 135 pound division, I think he's DeMarcus Coley now. He's gatekeeper.
I think you say that if he takes another fight, I think his pride will probably give him another fight. But I didn't know he was that old. I thought he was a little bit younger.
being in with Top Rank gives him the opportunity to continue being a gatekeeper and for them to keep it in house. You know what I mean? They can keep pitting younger stars against. Oh, let's see what he does against
Giving him
Comey.
the test, yeah.
Right, because Comey's still entertaining to watch.
Hell yeah.
At the end of the day, like he's still game while he's in there.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I think it's funny because you never know when it's time to call it quits as an athlete. But when it is time, everyone else figures it out first.
Yeah, I think as an athlete, I think you know, but you fight it because you it's not in your nature to give up.
It's pride a little bit, right?
But your body tells you like, hey, wow, I got hit with that punch. I watched that punch come right off of his shoulder and still hit me. Like in my head, I moved out the way, and you didn't move. You know, you're not as fast as you were before. You still have the juice, but you don't have it for a long extended period of time like you used to. Like you get all these signs, and you're like, no, I'll just work harder.
And that makes it maybe even worse, right?
Yeah, because you don't recover the same anymore.
Yeah.
You know, now you're wearing your wars on your sleeve. You know, 37 years old with the number of fights that he's had, all the sparring that he's done his whole life, like it just catches up to you overnight. I feel.
Yeah.
And you know, Comey's somebody who had to earn his status as a world beater. You know, not by taking the easy path. Like, you know, he had to fight some of the best guys and come in on the B side in a lot of these occasions, like, you know, on the world title level to really stake his claim.
Yeah, he earned everything he's gotten for sure.
That's
so
important.
Comey, we salute you. Uppercut City salute. All right. Anything else you guys want to say? I mean, 140-pound division, I think it's clear now we got the big dogs. You got Prograis, you got Jose Ramirez is now in that, you know, he's in that mix now because this was a WBC super lightweight title eliminator. So Ramirez is now in line for the shot against Prograis. And now you have Teofimo Lopez fighting Josh Taylor for the hunt for the WBO title. I think that the winner of those two fights is the fight I want to see, obviously.
Yeah, I like that fight.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I like Josh Taylor.
I hope Teofimo shines,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you know, I think he's different now. He's been through some wars that he didn't think he was gonna have to go through.
Oh.
And
I hope he gets knocked through the ropes.
it
He
changes
gets
you.
his fucking jaw broken.
It changes you, you know. So yeah.
Guessing you don't like him.
No, not a fan. Not a fan of the tail. You know, it's just, you know, I don't like the way him and his father conduct themselves. It's not for me. I give it
His father
showmanship.
his father's a different story.
And his
yeah.
father, I'm sorry, like, Teofimo Lopez has gone as far as he's going to go with his father as his trainer. Because his
The
father's the type
advice-
of trainer who's like, yeah, hey, get in there. Yeah, you got to throw more punches. Just throw him, hit him, knock him the fuck out. Like, what are you doing? Hey, how come you didn't knock him out in that round? Like,
The
oh,
advice that Teofimo's
Thanks, Dad.
father gave him in the Cambosis fight was the absolute worst advice ever. I was sitting there watching it like, are you kidding me? He goes, he asked Teofimo, he goes, what's wrong with you? What happened? Come on, get rid of this guy. That's the advice you give him? His nose is swollen, his jaw's swollen, his eye. Like, he's hurt. And that's the advice you give him? It's ridiculous. But I guess, you know, maybe they have an understanding and I don't know. Maybe there's some type of connection there, obviously, father and son. But for me, that's not how I would conduct myself in there. I'd be prepared to tell him what it is, how I can help him, you know, seeing things that he can't see, uplifting him and letting him know that we can, you know, get this done and he can do it. But, yeah, his father always seems drunk at the fights anyway. I'm not here to judge anybody, but if he ever bumps into me at a fight, who knows?
He ain't moving you, I'll tell you that.
no one's moving the Oso. You know, I think when it comes to the father-son dynamic in boxing, I think we could definitely, you know, for a future episode, I think that's something we could work on over a couple weeks is really digging into that as a topic and doing a case study.
It's not easy.
It's not. It's a very, very tough, you know, episode to navigate. And honestly, I think when we finally bring Manfredo on, I think that'd be a good week to do that since he's
been through a lot,
he's like
yeah.
the textbook case of it, you know, and he's got a lot to offer with that. Like, you know, Peter Manfredo, you know, was with his father his whole career and then went and had some of the best years of his life looking phenomenal with Freddie Roach and ended up going back to dad after, you know, and I think that's something that's interesting and examining too. And Peter, you know, every time I asked him about that, it was kind of eye-opening to hear the reasons why, because it was like sometimes it turned into like, oh, I'm getting paid $100,000 for this fight. Okay, Freddie Roach, I'm paying my manager, paying promoter fee. My father, even though he wasn't training him anymore for the fight, was still taking 10%. And Freddie let's say takes 5% of the purse, and then on top of it, he's got to get an apartment in LA, which even in the early 2000s was $4,000 a month.
Texas.
You got to get a car, rent a car while you're out there. So it's like, all right, cool. So I went out for a 6-week training camp, and it ended up costing me like a third of my fight purse. And it's like, I got a family with 3 kids. Like, you need that $100,000 as you need the much of that as you can at the end. So it's upsetting sometimes. But he always will tell me, and he'll tell you when he comes on the show, he said my single biggest regret was going back to my dad and not staying with Freddie.
I think, for me, it's difficult. I remember the first time my son got in the ring, and he's 15 years old, 14 turning 15, and sparred a 22-year-old man. He was the only guy in there about the same weight, so he sparred this young man in there. And it's different seeing your son in there. You've worked technique, you've worked, everything under the sun, and getting hit, and being okay with that, and staying calm and not jumping in the ring and slamming the dude on his neck, right?
Right.
So you're like, yo, it's my son, but I can't imagine doing it. I can imagine it, I should say, at the highest level, but
The emotion, right?
Yeah, you put that aside, and like father said, like Joey Spencer, his father stopped the fight, right?
That was a good stoppage.
Very good.
Honestly,
stoppage.
maybe a little late. Honestly,
He knew.
But it was
knew.
good. Like,
it needed to be
so
stopped.
much
Stopped
worse.
around before, yeah.
Yeah.
He knew his son, and other people are looking at it and seeing him not get wobbled necessarily, but taking these hard shots because he's strong. But he was out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I would dread as a father, is having to grab him up off the floor,
Yeah.
quit for him, or her, you know what I mean? Because I have a niece that fights, and I would do the same for her. I jump in the ring if I have to. So it's not easy.
Can't imagine.
I mean, it's a hard thing in general to see.
Shout out to Naya.
To see your kids take punches. That's in general it's a kind of bizarre thing. Because I talk to a lot of fighters, and I feel like it's almost a 50-50 split. Like, I know for me, like I love boxing, and my son wants to box, and I'm good with it, but I need to be part of it because I know the dangers of it. But at the same token, like, I played football for a long time too, and I don't want him playing football. Then I feel fighters, I'm usually 50-50. I do, my son is gonna fight, or I don't want my kid anywhere near this.
For me, it's the preparation. At one point before, my son decided that he was gonna go in the ring and fight, he had to show me a little bit. It wasn't a true spar, because I'm never gonna hit him for real, but I needed to see what he had. I needed to make him uncomfortable. I needed to put weight on him. I needed to negate everything that he was doing, so when he would throw a jab, I'd block it. I made him feel like nothing that he was doing was right. To let him know that there's levels. And then after that spar, he was like, man, this shit's not easy. And I said, okay, but what are you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna keep training. I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna get faster, and then we'll do it again. And that was the mentality, because he could have been like, yo, if it's this hard and you're in your late 30s at the time, what am I gonna do with a 22-year-old, 24-year-old? So, once their preparation is there, you can look in their eyes and you feel that mind, body, and soul are together, and you just go into war together. That's hand in hand, and you prepare for whatever comes with that. I think where fathers, have a problem is where the money is what's driving them, and sometimes rightfully so. Like you said, there's bills to pay, but they know their child is not ready, but they still have to force them because there's contract obligations and things that have to be done. And that's something, maybe your daughter's hurt, your son is hurt, and here you are having to put them in the ring to fight.
Right.
Because you signed up for it. So, there's a lot of stuff, nuances I think that are probably, hard to deal with, but, see.
What about you, man? Like, I know you didn't get into boxing until your 20s, but like, what were your parents' thoughts on like putting you into sports that involved contact like that?
I played I played football growing up a little bit, but more lacrosse, which is very contact. And they were for it because I was a little bit of a troublemaker kid.
Okay.
So anything to get me a little bit of organization or you got to be somewhere at this certain time was perfect because I was a little bit of a fuck off.
So you were the big bully.
At first I was, but then I came to realization that you don't want to be a piece of shit.
I wish
You know
I
what
would
I
have
mean?
met you.
I wish you did because you would beat my ass and it would my change of a person would happen way sooner, you know,
Like, this
than
little
fifth grade. Yeah.
This little dude is what's the
Yeah.
problem?
But the emotion that they have watching their kids fight, because my mom went to one of my fights, my fourth fight up in Riviera Beach, and oh my God, that's the only voice I heard. You were there. She was screaming, and I
We
used
were
to
screaming.
Yeah, I used to watch the video with the sound off because I was like I can't handle this. But then I watched it with the sound on. I was like, it's pretty awesome. You know, it is. But next time I'm gonna be like, yo, you were here, just right there. You gotta be right there. But
Yeah.
the emotion is real. The emotion is real.
I would say to you, Smooth, that in most of my career, I didn't have that support. You know, it's something that sometimes still bothers me to this day because I wasn't a person that took pictures. I wasn't a person that said, "Let me take this memorabilia." I just wasn't that person. Like, let me show off on social media. Let me do these things. I'm still kind of awkward with all that, But I wish I would have did that, and I wish I would have had somebody screaming at the top of their lungs that loved me to make me fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was in a situation where it worked out for me, I would say, for the most part, no losses. But that driving force to look in the stands and see my mother or see my significant other, my child. Woof.
And let me tell you something. That's real on both parts, the kid and the parent.
Yes.
Because that was you were there. That was my first fight. First time I ever got dropped. First round came back second. Third round very strong.
That was a war.
Yeah, that guy was big.
And what I tell you after
he was
that?
huge and he could box as well.
What did I tell you after that? You remember?
Yeah, you were meant for it.
You're meant for this.
Because I got knocked down, and that's right. I got up, and my first thought. Well, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm gonna be real with the camera. My first thought for 0.5 seconds was like, let me get the fuck out of here. Let me get out of here. But then I heard my mom, and I was like, wait, I just got knocked down in front of my mom? Hell no.
Oh.
Hell no. Hell no.
What was he, 280? How much did he weigh?
He said 255, but he looked like 275.
This boy looked like Anthony
Shout out to
Joshua.
the box.
He
That
looked like
jab he had was
Kimbe
real nice.
Mutombo was who he looked like.
Big as hell.
Knocked you
Big as
down. He
hell.
was like, no
Zaya. He fought Zaya. That dude
This
was
dude
big.
was fucking huge. Yeah,
Well,
he
shout
wasn't,
out to
but
Paul.
he wasn't. But maybe he wasn't thick like Zion. He was. That guy was
Big.
tall and long. Man.
And when
That
I,
dude
I'm
was-
gonna be honest, when I
Nice
first,
guy too, out of the ring, and
That
his
was
brother.
Poole. Poole was Golden Gloves.
No, that was the
Oh,
first
in front
fight.
of your mom. Oh, the first fight against
Yeah,
Xavier.
first
Yeah.
fight. But when I seen him, when you usually see a big guy because he was very muscular, like, oh, he's gonna try and brawl. But then you don't think they could jab nice or kind of move nice. When I first got in there, jab, felt his jab. I was like, all right, it's gonna be a long night because it was a good jab too. I was like, shit.
I was
it was a great
screaming.
fight.
I was screaming over his brother. His brother was like, easy.
I seen his brother. Yeah. He was screaming. It was a screaming match. It was a
Yeah.
screaming match. And that's what it is. You got two people fighting, and the families are going to be screaming. But it's all love.
Oh, I
It
got
is all
I
love.
got in his ear in the second fight. Though, the whole fight, like make him pay every time, motherfucker, make him pay. But yeah, Xavier Poole, good fighter,
Great fighter, great
awesome
fighter.
dude. Maybe
Great fighter.
shout out to him. Maybe we get him on the show with us one day
Yeah,
soon.
for sure.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Talking about like tall, big dudes, fighting. Lawrence Okoli fought this weekend, and I gotta say I'm a little disappointed. I thought he took on David Light, undefeated cruiserweight from Melbourne, and from everything we saw and everything we read, everything we heard, he should have made light work out of David Light, pun intended. And he fucking didn't. He didn't fucking do it at all, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. He didn't do shit. And
It was a fight.
What?
It was a fight.
Yeah.
It was not a fight.
Yeah.
There was a fight in the crowd, I think, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but it wasn't anything that I expected that the fight was going to be.
Yeah, man. Like
It was like literally he was trying to figure out how to win.
his hometown fans. But I don't know if it was even that. It just was. I don't know. The whole thing seemed. It was hard to stomach. Like your own fans were walking out of the ring. People, your own fans in England, and they're loyal to their people,
Yeah.
man. They were walking out of the arena before the fight was even over, rounds before. And Light made it to the end, which I didn't think was going to happen. So yeah, that's.
But yeah, David Light's last fight was against Bulletproof Brandon Blanton, I think. Shout out to him, a very good fighter too. And it was kind of controversy. You know, some people thought Bulletproof won, some people thought David won.
Right.
But if he didn't get knocked out by Bulletproof, I had a feeling that it might go all the full fight with Lawrence. You know, because Brandon Bulletproof, he could fight, he could bang, and if you could last with him, I didn't think it was gonna be too easy, too easy.
So Okoli, how long do you think until he's a heavyweight? Because he says he wants to unify the cruiserweight titles.
Right after he got out of the ring, he was a heavyweight. After the weigh-in, he was a heavyweight.
I mean, but yeah, how long do you think we see him make the dip? I mean, do we think he can
Years time.
Do we think he can beat the rest of the cruiserweight champions?
18 months, maybe.
Do we think he beats Opatai?
Your boy, Badu.
I don't know if he can beat Badu Jack. I don't.
That would be a good fight.
Badu Jack is
I watched
a
that shit,
really
bro.
skilled tactician.
Yeah.
That'd be a great fight. I
I
want
like
that.
Baco Jack at this new weight. Yeah, I like him.
He
bigger.
took Makabu apart.
Yeah.
I took his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk Uppercut City? He motherfucker looked like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. His head popping around. And I think it really exposed Makabu, and I think it was interesting to see that. I think we realized why Canelo picked Makabu as the cruiserweight that he wanted to fight out of everybody, because he probably would have tore through him like a buzzsaw.
Yeah, I mean, Canelo's calculated, obviously, that brand, that what he's trying to do and cement his name in history, the legacy. But he knows exactly what he's doing.
I don't think he's going to flirt with cruiserweight again.
I don't think so either. I think that he has his
He's
hands
smart.
full. Not with Ryder necessarily, but he has his hands full with the decision he makes after. Whether it's Bivol, whether it's Benavidez, or he
Benavidez.
dares to be great, super great, and cement his name forever and fight better Bivol.
Who? Canelo?
Yeah.
He's got to beat Beevil first before that happens.
So
I don't know. I don't think.
Sheesh.
I don't think.
Wow.
I don't think
Benavidez.
Canelo
Oh my
is.
God.
Listen, we already know.
it's terrifying.
Why don't we see what Better BF does to poor Callum Smith?
No.
Okay, because I told you his best hope is the Clintons.
Are they fighting?
The Clintons.
Callum Smith's fighting?
So I spoke to I spoke to John Scully, the Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
Spoke to Iceman. Love him. We're gonna have him on the show too soon. He's in the corner of Better BF, and he said that nothing's official yet, but the WBC has ordered that he defends the title against Callum Smith, and which I don't have a problem with. Callum Smith's one loss against Canelo. Other than that, he's
So if
undefeated. He's gonna get fucking killed.
If Benavidez wants to jump up crazy and just show the world how good he is, and he cannot get the Canelo fight
Better be it.
better be that.
I'm sorry, regardless of if he should take the Canelo fight because it's the best money he'll ever make in his life, and then he could do whatever he wants afterwards. He could cover himself in peanut butter and have a 15-hooker gangbang if he wants.
Wow.
Doesn't matter. You're the best
Good.
but because you're set for life because you fought Canelo. But I said it to you after the fight, after the Caleb Plant fight.
Look at Alex, bro. We'll just skip all over all that, right?
No, we're not. That's going on the podcast. Yeah, if you don't like it. Yeah, if you don't like it. Remember, you clicked on my motherfucking face to come into this show. Okay, in the words of Dave Chappelle. All right, but that's the best fight in boxing. David Benavidez versus Arthur Beterbiev. I'm calling for it now. That's the best fight in boxing.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's the best war.
That's
you can
like
think
you're
of.
on drugs for 12 rounds because that fight was crazy.
Yeah.
To see Benavidez heavier and healthier.
Oh my
Doesn't have
God.
to sink down to 168.
That's almost 10 pounds more he could do because 160, 170, almost 10 more pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be really the test of Benavidez would finally fight somebody that can hurt him and can put him in the
by
type
the
of
way,
positions
does
he puts
anyone know
people
where
in.
Triple G is?
Where?
He's on vacation.
I don't
bro.
know. I'm asking. Somebody
The
let us
Fiji
know where
Islands.
Triple G is. Who's he fighting?
I mean, his last fight was against Murata, right? No, his last fight was the Canelo rematch.
I don't know where he is, man.
Yeah, it was the third fight with Canelo. I'd say he's probably considering his next options, man. He's in his early 40s now.
Come back,
I
fight a Charlo.
I
then
believe
retire.
I believe he's vacating one of his titles. Well, Triple G can't.
Charlo? Oh, I think he's a little.
Charlo fights at 160. We keep calling Charlo out to 168. He's never fought at 168. Ever.
So give him fuck it. Give him
Fights at
Triple G.
160. The other
But
Charlo fights at
Golovkin, you think he
154.
wants to go home and retire off of fucking Charlo possible beating, right?
I mean, he
Or
could.
dare to be great and knock him out? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
There's still good fights
I
to
still
be
have
made.
faith in Triple G.
Yeah. Oh
Listen.
my God, he hit so hard without even looking like it. Just short. And the overhand that goes like right here.
That weird punch attack.
That's crazy.
angle shot.
I gotta say, there's.
Pacquiao's coming back. Did you see that?
Is he? Oh yeah, he's it's against
Conor
Conor Ben.
Conor Ben.
But it's not official 100%, I don't think,
And
right,
Conor
guys?
Ben takes his head off.
Is it official 100%? I don't think so.
I think Conor Ben's gonna take his head off.
Yeah, I don't want that.
There's gonna be restrictions on how many eggs Conor Ben can eat every day. It's gonna be fucking weird.
I hope he doesn't fight Conor Ben.
What?
Conor Ben's.
I don't think that's a good fight for anyone that's like, listen, at the end of the day, Pacquiao is Pacquiao, and I'm sure he might still have the skill to beat Conor Ben, but your life is completely consumed in politics now, and you're fighting a guy who's pissed off because he feels
Conor Ben versus Prograis.
he's vengeful because of what happened to him with the fucking eggs and the bad drug test, and now he's pissed that the WBC said it was eggs, and he was like, fuck you, man, I don't even eat eggs. I never said it was eggs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you know, as a fighter, you know what's going on. You know what you're eating. It's just don't act brand new.
Juice or no juice?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Triple G, here's the deal at 160. Talk about Charlo, that's cool. Janabek's the guy at 160 now. I would love to see Charlo versus Janabek, but I don't think Charlo wants anything to do with him.
I would love to see GGG versus Janovic first.
And Janabek wants Triple G because he feels that Triple G is a fraud to the Kazakh people.
They're
because
both
he's a Mexican
Kazakhstan.
fight, right? But Triple G, he says that Triple G isn't a Kazakh fighter, meaning like you don't fight Kazakh style. He fights Mexican style because that's how he was trained by Mexicans.
But like, if you're from somewhere, who gives you right? Like,
Listen, man, these guys just
What kind
need
of
they
fetish is
need
that?
something. They need a reason to have a rivalry.
yeah,
you know what
you're
I
right,
mean?
you're
Like
right, you're
there's,
right. They need beef.
it's all marketing, it's all politics, it's all positioning. No.
Yeah, I think he feels like he's been successful with his Mexican style that he's kind of been proclaiming since he started versus where he's from. I think that's the beef.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, Kazakhstan, Russian, right? It's Mexican style, and he's like, what the fuck? You're not Mexican. Shut
And
up.
Kazakhstan. But at the same time too, he has to.
What Tank tell Ryan? You're not even real Mexican. You don't speak
Yeah, right.
Spanish.
You don't even speak Spanish.
And that's okay too. But I don't tell people my family is from Italy. You could trace them all back, but I'm not Italian. I'm an American. I'm American with Italian descent.
You're Italiano.
Italiano, margarita.
But I don't think it's fair to say fake this or fake that. I think that Janabek and all those guys from Kazakhstan right now, Turavov, who we talked about last week, they need to be grateful that Triple G kicked the door open and put Kazakhstan boxing on the map for everybody.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
And I know that
feel
they're-
like he shaded them. Like he did put Kazakhstan on the map because of who he is, but he didn't glorify it. He glorified Mexican style of fighting.
He went to a trainer where he did what was best for him in his career.
And that's fine. That's not a problem. But at the end of the day, he's Kazakhstani, or however you're gonna say it, right? He's
But-
not Mexican.
Regardless, it makes a hell of a storyline to sell a fight.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Two Kazakh guys who don't like each other for some
Yeah,
bullshit
yeah.
reason.
Yep.
There's always got to be the angle there too.
Let's
And
see who's the real Russian.
right? The real Russian. I think there was one more fight to talk about.
Drago.
The real Drago. I remember the Klitschko brothers being like Drago.
It was a jab from hell, just Frankenstein jab. Right. That's it. That's all you got.
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are counting, but is there a counter how many accents he's done so far? 4?
Shit.
Should we do an accent count?
I think that was 4.
See how many countries are going to sue us for offending them and
Oh my
discriminating.
God.
Yeah, whatever.
Wow.
I don't give a fuck. I want to talk about obviously the big fight this weekend, this past weekend that summed up the beating that Caleb Plant took at the hands of David Benavidez. But real quick, one more fight that happened actually on Thursday night last week was Christian and Billy completely dominated Carlos Gongora. I don't know if you guys caught the fight. It was a smaller, syndicated top-ranked card on ESPN Plus. It was in Montreal. There was a couple good fights on the card. It was a heavyweight fight. Remember Eric Molina?
Yeah.
Eric Molina was on the co-main event against this kid Keane, and he ended up he hurt the kid a few times, and then the kid did what he was supposed to do. He took Molina out, TKO'd him in the 7th or 8th round. But it was cool to see Molina still back in action. I haven't seen, he was a name I always remember in the heavyweight division when we were a little younger.
Yeah, I think it's one thing having you seen him again, but then seeing him get knocked out is not good.
No. But we talk about them regional titles, and Billy put himself in a good position for a shot at Canelo, trying to get that going because this fight was for the WBC Continental America super middleweight title. So, and Billy, you know, someone to watch. He improves. He's 24-0 with 20 knockouts, regardless of, you know, and they're building along. It's a little better quality now. But that's a pretty eye-opening record, period. So, I mean, he's definitely someone to keep an eye on. You know, we do our best to keep up with boxing, but we all, you know, in the beginning stages here especially, you know, we have lives and things, and sometimes, you know, the Thursday night card is not the easiest card to catch. You know, you got sparring, you got kids, I have kids, you know. But I always do our best to give honest coverage, and if we don't know something about anything, we're going to fucking tell you, and we'll find out for you. So don't feel free. You can check us out on Instagram at Uppercut_City. Feel free to send us any questions that you have, things that you want us to talk about, or if you just simply think that we're fucking idiots and we don't know what we're talking about, feel free to educate us. We'd love to put you on blast.
Those out to Alex.
Yeah.
He's witty and he's willing to combat you.
Yes.
With words.
With words.
Yes. I will fight you in the comment section.
On the other, no.
All right. So, big fight card, which I thought PBC did a hell of a job putting together that Plant versus Benavidez fight card.
Yeah, I watched all four. It was entertaining.
Joey,
Yep.
my heart goes out to you.
Joey Spencer. All right, let's start with that one then. All right, so the Joey Spencer fight. God damn. Ramos.
Oh, boy.
I like
Butler.
Ramos.
Yeah.
Man. Oh my god.
But you could see that
I don't like
Joey was,
Ramos.
yeah.
I like Ramos.
I don't.
He looks good, man, in there.
You know, he did what he was supposed to do
He
against
did
the guy
exactly
who
what
was
he was
2
supposed
weight
to.
classes above his best.
Ramos looked huge that way.
Yeah.
Even with that arch in his spine, he looked big as hell.
Why don't you like him?
I just think that style is the same I've seen from so many Mexican fighters, which is just they maul you. They have the greatest cardio you've ever seen. He looks like a Margarito, just stronger. And I don't know. I like, for me, I like the Caleb Plant style. You know, I like somebody that can actually box and jab and move. And, you know, my favorite, obviously, is a boxer puncher. Somebody that can box and then hurt you in between that. You know, for me, like, you know, like a Tank Davis is just amazing to watch. You know what I mean? You think you have him somewhere and all of a sudden an explosion and you're out cold. So I don't necessarily like that mauling style. I don't take anything from them. If it wins fights, it wins fights. But that doesn't necessarily tell me you're the most skillful fighter.
Fair enough.
And that to me is why I don't necessarily like that style so much. You know.
Well, I think that was the only fight of the night that wasn't, you know, a really good, close fight. Like, that was the only fight where someone got fucking dominated, well, at least until the main event, like the second half of it. But, which Osa and I fucked up real bad. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
I just want to say, Joey, keep your head up. Seems like you're going through some things every now and then in the past couple fights, even when you win. I don't know if it's something where you're doubting yourself or whatever you're going through, but you're a great fighter. It's your first loss. Your dad did what was best for you.
Great stuff.
Try to lock down your weight and see where you actually belong. Felt like you looked bigger. This time you looked a little too lean for me. But just my opinion. But I'm here and I'm rooting for you. Yep.
Yeah, Joey, nothing to be ashamed of there with this past fight. I mean, you were clearly stepping into a whole nother weight class. I mean, you looked like you were in there with a guy who was 20, 30 pounds heavier than you. And I thought that was, you know, like I said, nothing wrong with that. But kind of went the way we all expected that to go. Ramos did what he had to do. Ramos's brother was on the undercard, too.
Is his brother or his uncle? Somebody tell me, because
It's his brother.
the broadcaster have messed it up. So every Ramos is related on that card. I don't know.
I think they are brothers.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope so.
I mean, yeah, you all kind of look alike.
He said it. He said it.
Are you related to them?
Do I look Mexican?
Kind of.
No.
You're not Mexican?
Look at the flag on the bicep.
Stop.
Oh, man. So I thought that the on that card, too, the Crowley fight was really good.
Woo.
Yeah.
Cody Crowley. Yeah, that was a fun fight.
Crowley is deceptive, bro, because as hard as he fights and the body that he brings in the ring, I would expect him to have some power.
Yeah.
But he's
I
always
just
on
don't
there, too,
understand why there's no power. It's just ridiculous.
Some people
because
don't got it, right?
I know, but look how hard he fights, how hard he throws, how hard he trains. It's physical.
He couldn't get him off him.
He looks like a Conor McGregor's stepbrother.
Yeah, but it's kind of like almost
That's
like
what someone said that night, too. I was like,
Funny, he's like an Irish boy who like fights like a Mexican, man. On you constantly, on you, crowd, and he's not the hardest hitter, but he'll get you out of there with the volume. And I just thought it was a real.
He's fighting at 147.
Yeah, that's welterweight.
He brings that fight to like an Errol Spence.
He brings it to anybody.
Oh my God, he's gonna get destroyed
At that weight, yeah.
I don't see anybody beating Errol Spence. We haven't talked about him lately.
Well,
if he goes to 154,
this is nothing to fucking talk about.
And he goes to 154. No, I don't think he beats him either.
I think Terrence takes him.
I don't know. I think
Stop.
Ow.
It's like Hagler Hearns. How late? I mean, it was a great fight, but damn, we're waiting so long to see it. It's hard. But I thought, Crowley looks like he's going to be an entertaining guy to watch, and Ramos, the brother,
as long as it lasts.
There was no shame there.
As long as it lasts, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because the minute he faces real power, and he doesn't have power, you can't get the person off you.
Right? Yeah, but Al Heyman's goal right now is to probably serve him up as the B-side to a world title fight because he's entertaining. And so, you know what, he'll serve his purpose while he's...
Remember his record 21 and 0?
Which isn't a B-side necessarily, but it still is, you know what I mean?
But it ain't fucking Crawford. That's what we want. Spencer Crawford.
I mean, supposedly it's coming in June. We'll see. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it until it's official.
I don't even want to say it. Anything.
Until the ink is actually like down, dry on
Give me Crowley versus Thurman while I wait for it.
Crowley versus Thurman? Okay, I can watch that. I see that for sure. Or even some of these guys who are
Barrios versus Crowley.
Okay.
Yes.
Or let's say Josh Taylor or Teofimo go up to 147. That's a good first fight for them.
Shit, I don't even know what Barrios' weight should be anymore. He's so damn big.
168 now.
Yeah, I mean he's 6 foot. Might as well.
Hey man, some of these guys like to eat too. You never know. I heard JoJo's going to be making his middleweight debut soon.
160.
Yeah.
Somebody send me the contract.
You fight JoJo 160?
Oh my God!
Kill that boy
Today.
What do you guys got? 25. That's it.
Let's take it easy, smooth.
All right, you heard it first on Uppercut City. JoJo Diaz. You want to fight Oscar Clone at 160? You got it.
Woo. Give me some time.
Oh, okay. All right. So
unless if you want to do 185, we can get that done over the weekend.
You at 185 compared to JoJo is going to be, I think, the size difference we're going to see this weekend against, with Joshua and Jermaine Franklin. But before we get into that, let's talk about the elephant in the living room. Let's talk about Caleb Plant, David Benavidez.
Yeah, sure.
Also, now I guess. Well, actually, you know what? Let's let Smooth over here bask in his glory because he's the only one that picked it right on Uppercut City.
Well, not full glory because it wasn't a knockout, but it was a good fight.
It was pretty damn close to a knockout. It might have been.
Yeah, it would have. I think, guys, it would have been a knockout if Caleb Plant wasn't goddamn holding, man. Like, yeah, you should hold in a certain manner. But you shouldn't give them a goddamn bear hug and almost pull their trunks down, getting dragged on the floor. You know what I mean?
He was taking what Kenny Bayless was giving him, which was
100%. So it wasn't Plant's fault. Kenny Bayless, I love him too. Great ref, one of my favorite refs to watch. I don't know if he took one of the Mike Tyson edibles or something like that, but he was. Come on, just at least one morning, you saw Benavidez with the fucking quadruple hook.
It was Kenny Bayless, right?
Yep. I like Kenny Bayless.
Kenny Bayless was looking at Caleb Plant like he was looking at his son and was like, wow, I'm gonna let him hold on for dear life,
right? Because
and I'm gonna let it slide. He was looking out for Caleb Plant.
Yeah, but come on, be fair.
I thought
that fair, I guess.
Sure. I would say that still I think that Caleb Plant is way more skilled than Benavidez. I think it's clear skill wise, but Benavidez has that a lot of those Mexican fighters have is that come forward, awkward punches. The first punch he hit, I mean, he hurt Caleb with was an inside punch with no leverage.
The first fight,
and it was blasted on the inside, and I was like, whoa. The way he reacted to it, I was like, this is not good.
The first punch that he hurt Caleb with was around the midway point of the fight, and it changed the entire dynamic of the fight.
Yeah, it was on a hold. He pushed him off, and then he clipped him, and then you could see it, and I was like, wow. And the fact that all the jabs that Caleb was landing didn't deter him at all, just told you that he can't keep him off him.
And Benavidez didn't even throw his jab. And I don't think he could
Benavidez.
What jab?
Well, Benavidez has a pretty nice jab.
He wasn't using it much.
He wasn't using it at all.
But
he was too mobile.
I think that the game plan was probably not to use the jab because
have you seen the uglier body jab? in your life?
Well-
Benavidez jab to the body is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Well, I'm
in my
talking to
life.
the head. The head jab's nice. The body, it might be a little. Okay, fair enough.
Little
yeah.
fugazi, yeah.
You
But
might
you
be
know
well
what?
balanced.
It served his purpose the other night. He walked through him, and he has fight-altering power.
He does. He
When
does.
someone tastes it, they don't want it, and that's why
And he's a
give me
giant.
Benavidez versus Beterbiev. I want it.
He's just a giant margarito.
Yeah.
They just don't quit. Looks like they never get tired. They don't get hurt, and they just keep coming forward. If you don't have power, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Period. And Caleb, I don't know what the game plan was because if I recall, he threw the same combination that he threw on Darrell like 7-8 times on Benavidez. The hook to the body, then come up top.
Yeah,
But why?
You know it's coming.
The same combination. That's
well,
all we
I don't know
have.
if you heard in his corner, but his corner kept telling him to throw that combo. His corner kept
I
saying,
know,
go down
yeah.
low and then wait and then come back up. It's like, yeah, we saw the tape. I'm sure David did too.
Yeah.
Like, he knows it's fucking coming.
This is not Darrell.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And also, too, when he was throwing those punches, he wasn't putting his everything on his punches. Caleb was not sitting down on his shots at
Not
all.
because he's trying to get out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's funny enough. Like he sometimes live by the sword, die by the sword. And Caleb negotiated a 22-foot ring, and then Caleb died running around a 22-foot ring.
Which should
He ran himself out of gas.
Just my 2 cents would be that they would have went crazy in camp on the inside game. They would have had people mauling him to the point where he was tired by the third
no,
round.
they said, all right, we got a 22-foot ring. Let's just work on dancing around it, and it didn't work.
No, he's too big. I was just the other day we were working in the ring, and I said, "Smooth, take 3 steps forward real quick." He was on the other side of the ring, and he was in front of me, and I was like, 3 steps? Like there's nowhere for me to go.
Yeah.
Everywhere where I cut the ring off, Smooth was in front of me,
That's
and I
a
was like,
16-foot
"Whoa!"
ring, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, "Oof!" Like it's hard, and I thought that. For me, I thought that would be the game plan, where they would be strong inside, and they would be able to fight him on the inside and sneak him the way he snuck Caleb. And they thought that they were going to outbox him and keep him on the outside. With what power?
Yeah.
It's hard to say how you're going to outbox somebody who, yes, he's known for his power, but he's also one of the most accurate punchers ever.
Yeah.
Lands nearly 40% of his punches on average.
That's startling
That's a
to
lot.
me too. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's the punch selection. It's not always volume. It's and you saw it. He kind of like he waited for his moment against Plant, and he knew it was going to come.
Yeah, he
And
knew.
it was very disciplined.
As soon as he felt that double jab, the speed was different, he knew.
Yeah. That even the shots to the body,
There
like
was a couple times he caught it.
Caleb looked scared the whole fight.
When he caught the jab, like Caleb was in his bag and threw it, and he went. I said, "Oh, whoa." He got the timing. Yeah.
Does Canelo need to fight Benavidez now?
Yes.
Why?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Because for one, I mean, Benavidez is of that cloth, right? And if they're gonna have that talk amongst themselves, the greatest Mexican fighters of this era, they just happen to cross paths in the same era. So we can't have that conversation for what if. That's the easiest fight to make. You're from the same country. You guys have been looking at each other. Benavidez is huge. It will be, Canelo takes these fights and looks, even when he lost to Bivol, like, he got beat. To me, that didn't look like Canelo. He changed diets or whatever he did.
Vegan diet.
Yeah, that didn't look like Canelo to me. But he never got hurt. He never got hurt still.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a fight. Imagine Benavidez knocking down Canelo.
Yeah, I can.
That would be crazy.
It's going to happen if they fight.
That would be crazy. Or Benavidez getting knocked down, coming in like, thinking he's gonna work the inside and just getting dropped by Canelo.
That I could see being
By a
more
smaller
likely than Canelo running around and outboxing him.
You crazy?
Yeah, on the inside, Canelo's got a lot of power, but I don't know. Damn, I don't.
Benavidez just as part of one of the two of the best boxing fights that can happen. Benavidez Canelo or Benavidez Beterbiev.
If he
That
wants,
says something about Benavidez.
if he wants to skip the Canelo fight and just like it's not even a conversation anymore, he fights Beterbiev.
Well, here's the deal.
Top dog if he does that.
At 168,
Pound for pound.
if Canelo doesn't give Benavidez the shot, the likely reason will be that he's going to give Bivol the shot at the undisputed 68-pound title because Bivol's agreed to go down to 168 for the fight. And I think that is I think that's Canelo's way out of the fight because I think Bivol beats him at 168 again. I don't think that 7 pounds is going to make that much of a difference.
I think that's where we kind of, me and you have a different viewpoint. I'm not taking anything from Bivol, I promise. I think he's an excellent fighter. That's not the Canelo you're used to seeing.
And it was
You've never seen him tired, ever. And I don't care what Bivol was doing. He's not going to make him tired. He's never been tired.
But he put pressure on him like he
Sure,
never faced
sure.
before and manhandled him in a way that he's never been manhandled before.
Sure, but he was tired. He was gasping for air. He didn't look like himself. And again, I don't want to take it from Bivol. I could be wrong. But it didn't look like the Canelo I'm used to.
Maybe we've seen too many videos of Canelo throwing wild hooks on, uppercut bags. Maybe a jab here and there would be useful. Like,
I mean, you got it.
because
Well,
he
yes,
tried
that-
to
What's the last fight Canelo had?
against Triple G.
No. He fought somebody recently.
Triple G was the last fight,
Yeah.
the third
It was a
fight.
bounce back after.
So he had a crazy. Yeah, he was using.
And
jab
he
there.
couldn't put Triple G away either, which I thought at that stage of his career I thought he was gonna be able to.
Shit, but Triple G, no one's been able
Yeah,
to put
sure.
Triple G though.
Yeah, he's got a granite chin.
I don't think it's ever been cracked.
Yeah, best fights there though. I could even see Benavidez eventually going through the cruiserweight division too.
I
At
think
200.
that the next fight for Benavidez, if he doesn't get the Canelo fight, is going to be Charlo or
Andrade.
Yeah, Andrade.
Well, I think that would make the most sense because they're all PBC fighters. So Al Heyman usually likes to keep it in house if he can.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the main reasons he signed Andrade was to give whoever is there the next shot. So, and I think honestly, the longer they wait, the better it is for Andrade. But I feel like even at 34 years old, I think that he still is one of the top three or four guys in the division.
Yeah, he's very very good fighter.
He's that boxer puncher that you talk about.
Yes.
With a very awkward style. What about you? What do you think if Canelo doesn't fight Bivol? I mean, if Canelo doesn't fight Benavidez, where does that leave him in legacy?
I think it taints it a bit, don't you think? Like, what's his excuse? I don't want to fight another Mexican fighter.
I
What is
mean,
that?
there's always excuses. Floyd's going to have a lot of people out there that they say he should have fought and that he timed people when he fought them. But at the end of the day, he still goes down as one of the greatest ever.
He beat 27 or 30 champions.
Yeah.
He beat 20 or 27 undefeated fighters. Floyd is the best defensive fighter ever.
For sure.
It's not even close.
But just the point being, there's always going to be
There's always gonna be
factions of people who
something,
say
but-
you didn't fight. People think he ducked Antonio Margarito, which
Sure.
is laughable.
But the idea that you fought the same people, and you don't fight each other, and you're from the same country, I don't think doesn't go well with Mexico.
No.
They're just not bred that way. They go out on their shield. They that's what they're known for. So this is one of those where he would say, "Órale, wey, let's get this shit done." So I think it has to happen.
They're talking about at 175. They're talking about Bivol defending his title against Jaime Munguia,
Oof.
and that'll finally be the beating that Jaime Munguia has been. We've all been waiting to see, I guess.
That's a good fight too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that.
but I mean, Munguia.
Yeah,
has,
but there's a.
knock on him as being like, "Come on, man, you need to step it up." That's a big step up.
What's the Cuban kid? It's in the back row.
Which one?
I gotta-
Morel?
David Morel?
Yes,
Morel
David
is-
That
Morel.
was good.
Morel versus Benavidez. That's a fight.
That's a fight.
Morel
Yes.
Morel versus Andrade's a great fight too.
Morel won't fight Charlo because they're in the same camp.
I guess
They
that
got the same
makes-
trainer.
That makes sense, right?
No, they got the same
Yeah,
trainer.
you can't, right?
Yeah.
Well, who's gonna be in the corner, right? Hey, do this! Hey, do that!
But let's be real. Let's say Morel goes out there and puts together a string of victories and picks up a couple titles.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't think that that's going to stop them.
Well, Charlo said
If Charlo wants to be at
for
168,
the
I
right
want the
money,
belts. Yeah.
For the right money, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to talk. But he said that's my stablemate. I don't want to fight him now.
Who's fighting this weekend? So some headlines.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua said he's going to retire
Jermaine Franklin,
if
baby.
he loses to Jermaine Franklin. So,
You see what he came in at?
are we throwing a retirement party?
I like Jermaine Franklin.
I like Jermaine.
I like his style. And he got robbed on that Dillian, or however you say, white fight.
Yeah, he got rocked so many times.
Well,
though.
I think that this is a safe proclamation for Anthony Joshua to make, since He's fighting in his homeland. He's fighting on DAZN. He's fighting with Matchroom. And as we've seen, they already don't have a problem fucking over Jermaine Franklin because they fucked him against Dillian White. And let's be real, unless he knocks him out completely,
they'll fuck him again.
Even if he gets outboxed, I don't see him winning the decision.
But as many times as he got hurt during the Dillian White fight, you still think he won?
He did get hurt.
He was getting hurt all over the place.
Hurt or like little stunned here and there. Yeah.
Stumbled every time. I mean, I counted 4 different times.
I think Dillian White hits harder than Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua has 22 knockouts out of 24 wins.
I know.
So is this your prediction? Knockout?
Yes, he knocks
him out.
What round?
Before 6.
Before 6?
Yeah.
I think Franklin at 9.
I think.
You think Jermaine Franklin's gonna knock him out?
9.
9?
I think he's pissed. I think he's like fuck.
I think he's too small.
I think 234, right? He was 220 pounds.
Yeah, but he's just small in general compared to him, and he lost a lot of fat. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's a big 234.
Yeah.
Like
he looked big against.
He's a drained 234. I just think that he gained the 255. So when he feels at any time that he feels like it's not going his way,
just put it on.
He's gonna lean on him.
Yeah.
It's gonna be different. He's gonna be nasty.
What was Joshua before? Like 245?
Yeah, I would say he's in the 240s.
240s, 250s, sometimes 230s.
He's that tall and 240. Like I don't get. How can you be that? It's not light, but like how are you not 280? Like that's crazy. He's chiseled too.
He's huge. Yeah.
That weight, that scale he's on is fucked up. That shit's fucked up.
I don't know. I think that we're going to see. I think it's going to go to the decision, and I think that'll be the disappointing part about it. I think that Anthony Joshua. I don't know. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in Anthony Joshua. I've never been really sold on him. It's impressive the win against Klitschko because of what he went through in the fight, but this was Klitschko 13 years past when he won the world heavyweight title for the first time. So, and after already being beaten by Tyson Fury, and he was there for the taking and still almost got the job done against Joshua. I think if the fight goes the distance and it's a close fight, and anyone, even let's just say Joshua wins 7 rounds out of, is it a 10-round fight or a 12-round fight? 12-round fight. So let's say if Anthony Joshua wins 8 out of the 12 rounds, that will still be enough of a question mark in people's minds to trash him.
All he's ever been missing is the dog in him.
Yeah.
That's really it. And even, think about this, right? We say that, and he has only 2 fights that went the distance. Mm-hmm. He's knocked everybody out unconscious.
Yeah. Well, I said he didn't like the criticism from his former coach when he switched to Garcia.
I just don't see how Franklin can hurt him. If Franklin couldn't hurt Dillian White, how's he gonna hurt Joshua?
He hurt him. I think he hurt Dillian White one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Joshua do to White?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, he starched him.
He's been pretty bold, though. I mean, Franklin's out there saying, I'm going to knock Anthony Joshua the fuck out. I'm going to knock him the fuck out.
You got to believe it, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's not saying...
Just one thing, Franklin. You got to believe it. I just don't believe it.
I believe it, Franklin. I believe it.
But Deontay Wilder told him, don't take this dude, take him seriously.
Now, does that mean
if Franklin gets knocked out?
They worked together in the past.
If Franklin gets knocked out, you got to shave your beard off for the next one.
If Franklin gets knocked out, I'll shave my fucking beard, okay?
Okay, you heard it first. You heard it on Uppercut City.
I'll be a babyface Baco.
Oh,
I'm not making the deal.
Oh.
Big Smooth is going to be smooth on his face. All right, so Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, is the biggest heavyweight fight in the world, says top-ranked president.
I would say, I'm thinking tickets, I'm thinking stadiums, O2 Arena.
I think it's a huge fight in England. Yeah, it's going to be,
the biggest fight. I think that I would like to see Usyk and Wilder.
Bro.
Usyk Fury is the
I feel like Wilder's straight right is just there. You're like, who knows, maybe he'll move out the way, Usyk, but I feel like it's
he'll move out the way.
Right into
a coffin.
Oh.
Southpaw style. I think that's a great fight for boxing right there. I tell you one thing, does anybody want to see Usyk versus Danny Dubois?
No.
Because that's what they're talking about putting together.
We don't want to see that. Now, Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury, maybe I want to see that. 2 big motherfuckers.
Joe Joyce versus Usyk.
I like Joe Joyce.
So they already fighting?
I like his little awkward
Joe Joyce versus
style.
Fury is a nice fight, but I feel if Fury kills him.
There's nothing left for Fury, really. He's just dismantle Usyk and retire.
Right? Who else is there for you to take out unless you just want to make money at this point?
And he says it's not about the money, so.
I know, and I know that the reason that he fought Derek Chisora was supposedly because I think Chisora was having some financial
Wanted to help
difficulties,
him out a bit.
and I think that they're friendly, and I believe that was why they had that next fight. Fury kind of wanted to stay busy and tune up for his next big fight, and saw an opportunity to do something nice for Derek Chisora. So I think that's always cool to see too. But yeah,
that's amazing. You know, to be at that level and be able to make that call Tyson Fury and say, hey, I know this is probably not the fight people want to see, knowing in the back of his head he wants to help a friend. But it's a hard way to earn your money. Help your friend and then get your ass beat by your friend. You know what I mean?
And it was like, it was exactly what you thought. It was like just a beatdown for 10 rounds before it ended.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see, Tyson Fury. I think outside of, I would like him to clean up Joshua regardless. Even if he cleans up Usyk first.
It's gotta happen.
I feel like then there's no more question.
It's gotta fucking
Battle
happen.
of the Titans.
Battle of the English Titans, right?
Yeah, because you have Wilder who has the height, but is nowhere near the weight and mass. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now if you came in, let's say Tyson Fury came in at 270, well, he's 15 pounds heavier than Joshua. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, right.
Versus coming in at 223, 219, one of his fights, and Wilder, I think the heaviest he's been in a fight was 236. Yeah. You know. Which
and that was against Fury. Yeah.
And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're talking 50 pounds. So, I think that'd be cool. That's a great fight.
I would actually want to see it.
But I think Joshua got to handle business tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, real quick before we get into some predictions about the weekend. WBA middleweight champion Ryota Murata, who we saw Triple G bounce back with a nice win against take his title, retired today. So hats off to you, my man. You know, Olympic champion. You know, so Olympic gold medalist, WBA champion. Can't ask for more than that in a career. Good for you. And you know what? You know, you put it on. You had a good fight with Triple G while it lasted.
Yeah.
So I think that's, congratulations to you for getting out with your wits about yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into the war zone. We've got a couple of fights this weekend to chat about. All right. First, since we've been talking about it, let's do the predictions. Anthony Joshua, Jermaine Franklin, official prediction.
Anthony Joshua wins by knockout.
A round or no? Prediction?
You better stick to it.
I want to say before 6.
Okay.
So early round knockout. Okay. Smooth?
Knockout, Jermaine Franklin, round 9. The beard's not getting shaven. Nope.
I think Anthony Joshua ekes out a harder than expected decision against Jermaine Franklin, which further clouds my opinion of him. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably the most disappointing aspect.
That's the bad thing about Alex, bro. When he don't like you, he just don't like you.
He don't like you.
You're assed out. He just doesn't like you.
I think he's going to win a decision he doesn't deserve to win. That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh my God.
That's my
He
prediction.
hates him.
I don't hate him.
You hate him.
I see this going this way. I think he gets.
Stop
I think
it.
he
Stop
gets
it.
outboxed.
Wait, so is your
Unbiased opinion.
Is his opinion that Franklin mops the floor and gets fucking robbed?
My point. I'm
that
not saying he
even-
mops the floor, but maybe he wins 7 rounds and they fuck him. Hey man, bring a condom with you because you're getting fucked in London.
Wow.
That's
There you go.
the
That's the take. That's it. That's Stone's slant on it. You're getting fucked this weekend. One way or another.
No, he's gonna knock him out.
Delete that whole shit, please.
No. Delete. There's no delete button here. This is raw, baby.
Raw Dog
Unfiltered.
City. Raw Dog City. Raw Dog City.
Oh man, it's funny enough. James is the only one of us that doesn't have any children. We're Mr. Raw Dog
Hey,
City.
pull out game
I'll look at my
right?
wife if she gets pregnant. Yeah. Pull out till you're 50, bro. All right, so the other fight on tonight this weekend to discuss, not tonight. Well, it will be tonight by the time that people see this episode because I got to figure out what I'm doing still and editing it. Roy Jones Jr. versus Anthony Showtime
Show him the
Pettis,
stance. Show him the stance.
former UFC champ, on Jorge Masvidal's promotion in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and also,
I knew you would.
are you gonna? Is also gonna watch? All right, hold on, wait. Smooth, real quick. I know you don't really know much about Roy. I mean, you know who Roy is.
I've
but
seen Roy, but
I know, but
not
I'm saying,
his
but like you don't know
I was a
Roy.
baby.
You know,
Yeah.
unfortunately, like anything that you see of Roy in the present moment is like a shell of his former
Oh my
self,
God,
obviously. So, what do you think? How's this fight going?
Also, Oso.
Tell us.
Oso.
Tell us,
Alex, but Oso, I love you, man. I love you. You're my dog. I love you too, but this is gonna be harsh for him.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. Oh my God. Okay, so Showtime Pettis. I'm sorry, he's younger. I think he's gonna just. I don't know if knock him. It's a boxing match, right? This is how much I've not been like. I'm scared to watch it. You know, it's not MMA, right? No elbows.
Gandalf is younger than Roy Jones at this point.
I think Showtime wins, bro. And I don't think it's. I think it's gonna be a decision because, like, if I was Showtime, how could you knock out Roy Jones the way he is? You know,
you fucking better.
Nah. Because if I'm in there, I see Roy Jones, I'm like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, but at the same time too, you're going in there as a professional fighter.
Yeah.
And because that's what it is. It's not an exhibition match. You're going in there as a professional fighter, and you're fighting on a guy like Masvidal's card. Like, he doesn't want you to fight like a little bitch. He wants his fans to get the money for it too. And if you know that a dozen people have slept Roy Jones, you better go out there to fucking sleep him.
Stop.
Showtime Pettis, Anthony Pettis, it's going to be a knockout. It's going to be a knockout. I'm sorry.
No, so Anthony Pettis knockout, early rounds. Like,
how many rounds is it? 8, 10? What is it? I know it ain't 12, right?
Hold on, I'm looking up the exact details of the fight because honestly, like, we talk about it, but I really haven't like looked up much of what's about to happen.
I'm sick of these guys.
We love Roy. Hey, listen. All right, I just need to put this out there because I think we need to try to be objective when we can. But my very first email address was jonesjr36@yahoo.com.
How are you gonna?
I changed my email address when I started writing for boxing websites because my editor pointed out that it was a conflict of interest to have a mailbag and to write up opinion editorial pieces about fights when I clearly have a bias towards Roy Jones. And I said, all right, well, you know.
He's writing the thing and it says Roy Jones email post.
Yeah, no, Jones Jr. 36, you know, so like that was my email address. I love Roy. Roy's the reason that I got into boxing to begin with. Like, I do. However, you know, he's fighting almost 15 years, 20 years past his best.
Fighting is a young man's sport, and it always will be.
And it's an 8-round fight against Anthony Pettis.
Yeah, so I started boxing because of Roy. So I used to go in the bathroom and do push-ups and would wake up hoping that I looked like Roy Jones Jr. did when he used to weigh in. If Roy Jones dies in the ring, I die with him. I'm going Roy wins by decision. I don't know that I'm going to watch, though. I'm still up in the air about it.
I'll watch it, but I'm not paying for it. I'm going to pirate it.
But I'm going with Roy.
I'm stealing the stream.
Roy, I'm going with you.
All right, you're going to go Roy? You think Roy knocks him out? You think Roy takes him 8 rounds?
Roy takes him to 8 rounds.
Roy takes him to 8 rounds.
And we also have another fight that we're missing.
Hold on, I can give my prediction yet.
No, Oso didn't want to hear it.
I was trying to go to Oso last, but it didn't work out that way. All right, so much as I love Roy, I think Anthony Pettis is putting him to sleep.
Oh my God.
4 rounds? I say 4.
Yeah.
I'm sick of both of you.
So the next podcast just be
He's just be Alex by himself. Oscar hit smooth in the nose.
I think that I think that logic states that even though he's, how old is Roy? He's got to be
54.
54 years old, and Pettis is probably in his late 30s, early 40s.
30s.
I would say Roy should still win this fight. Like, he should outbox him because it's the equivalent of Tim Tebow trying to play baseball against Roger Clemens. Like, yeah, I get it that you know this sport, but it's different. And Roy has that boxing muscle memory that's ingrained into him. However, I just don't believe in his chin at all. So this being a non-exhibition fight, I feel like if he gets caught, you know, his last 4 fights have been, Roy fought a guy in a 6-round fight in 2016 named Byron Phillips, who was making his pro debut. Then he fought a guy who was 17-11, and his next fight, 21-6, and then 30-11. Like, Roy's not putting it on guys who are hungry anymore. And I don't know where Anthony Pettis is at. I don't know if this is going to be more like an exhibition. I don't know. But I think if it's a real fight, I think Roy's in a lot of danger.
So you're going against Roy?
Yep.
Roy, like I said, I'm dying with you. I'm riding with you. Let's get it done. I'm sick of these two.
Picking with my head like I did last week. You know, my heart knew Benavidez would win that motherfucker. But you know how hindsight works. So you said there's one more fight that we didn't talk about.
Dogbo is fighting.
Oh, Isaac Dogbo. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's fighting the Cuban kid.
Dogbe, right?
Yeah, Dogbe is fighting Rose. I can never pronounce his last name. But he's fighting on a top-ranked card. They look great at the weigh-in. I could not believe how small they are. He looks like he's 170 pounds of muscle, and they weighed in at 126.
Robsy Ramirez, that's who he's fighting.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Robsy
fair.
Ramirez?
Yes.
World title on the
Wait,
line.
who do you got?
I got the Cuban kid.
Dogbe?
No, the Cuban kid.
Robsy Ramirez? Oh my god, that guy is
He's
good.
nasty.
Oh my
strong.
god. Oh.
You going Robsy?
Yeah.
And Dog,
100%.
All right, just
Dogbe-
because y'all are going Robsy, I'm going Dogbe.
and I'm sick.
Dogbe's a sick fucking name though.
And Dogbe is also with Barry Hunter now. So Tank's, Tank's
really?
team. Yeah, Summer
Bro.
Tank's team. Yeah. If you watch one of the,
Dogbe's on Tank's team?
if you watch the first Cruise Tank All Access, you can see Dogbe was at the track with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be a great fight. But that Cuban kid's power is
Robsy in
serious.
3.
I think you're probably right, but I'm just going to pick Dogbe
Robsy in
just to
3.
argue with you.
He's nasty.
Robsy in 3, you picking Robsy 2?
Yeah, I think so. I think it goes two ways. Either Dogbe gets knocked out, or he shows a great account for himself but still loses.
Interesting. So you don't see any way that he makes it out of there. Okay. Well, I agree with you guys, but I'm still going to pick just to be different. So this was, I think, I think you guys, I would love for y'all to hit that subscribe and like button. It helps grow us, put our videos out to more boxing people who want to see them. And I think, I think that this production is a little bit better. Let us know what your thoughts are on the audio, the video, things that we could do better, things that you would like to see and like to talk about. Anything you want to add? Say to the fans out
If you
there?
want to see gut punches to Alex's stomach at the end of the episode,
definitely.
comment.
For sure.
Raw dog,
Too
no,
many
no
fucking
blow.
Twinkies over here.
I'm sick of these guys.
And
Roy
he keeps
Jones.
saying that. He wants to go hang out with his wife. He's so sick of us. He wants to
Roy
get out of
Jones.
here.
Roy Jones.
Y'all must have forgot.
Roy
Must have
Jones.
forgot.
All right, guys. Well, this wraps up our second episode.
I'm still not sure if I'm gonna watch.
I am. I'll watch
I guess
for
I'm
you.
gonna watch.
I'm watching for you.
I guess we're going to watch.
I'm watching for you.
All right. Well, whether or not we watch, find out on the next episode of Uppercut City!
See you guys. Peace.